In this box is something super exciting that's going to totally transform the interior of my Defender, and something that I've wanted to do ever since I bought the car. Now, for those of you that are new here that don't know, this is Scout, my Project 110 build. It's not been on the channel for a little while, but over the last 3 to 4 years, I've been turning this into my dream overlanding camping Defender 110. Now, over the years, you've seen me transform the interior of Scout, from fitting cargo guards to fitting rear load beds, rear drawer systems, Apple CarPlay. But the one thing that I've always wanted to do, which I always put off from doing, is replacing the headliner. Now, these Defenders come with a factory vinyl headlining. Over time, these become really tired, really worn. They can even start to sag where the material separates from the board itself and just generally look a little bit unsightly. They also don't really feel very premium, and with all the upgrades that I've done to Scout inside, I've been trying to upgrade over time and make the inside of the Defender feel as quality as the outside. So with that, I've been speaking to the guys at The Vault who create a replacement headliner for your Defender, both for 90 and 110. These have been trimmed in genuine Alston, which will give that real nice premium feel, that black finish that I'm wanting for the inside of Scout. They're also made from a new composite material fiberboard, which means that sagging will no longer be an issue. With that, I'm super excited to unbox the product and get this fitted up into the back of Scout. So I'll just peel back a little bit of the plastic wrapping just so you can see kind of the finish. This is going to look so much more premium inside. I'm really happy with that. I'm so excited to get this fitted up. So the Defender headliner is actually in 3 sections. You've got the front section, the middle section, the rear section, and I suppose 4 sections if you include this piece that goes over the back end of the Defender. On a 90, I believe there's only 2 pieces plus the back end. In the kit, we've also got these black fir tree clips. The cool thing about this is they've actually trimmed the top of the clip as well. So when we push it in place, it'll obviously be more in keeping. That's just a real nice detail from the guys. I'm really excited to see what these look like fitted up too. Now, the first step is, of course, to remove the old headliner. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to freshen up the whole interior of Scout. So I'm going to also remove the rear drawer system so I can clean all inside and underneath too. The rear drawer system also, in my case, pins in some of the trims that we're going to have to remove. So I'm going to remove all of the rear drawer system that I've built in the past, get all that out, and then we can start to remove the old headliner and all of the old plastic surrounds that are holding that headliner in place. This was a really good opportunity to empty the rear drawer system, ready for some really exciting camping trips coming up. The rear drawer system bolts in place through the old seatbelt fixings, a couple of bolts, and it's easy to remove. So here we are, I'm armed with my trim removal tools as we're going to start removing some of the trims to get access to the headliner. But the main things are the plastic surrounds around the windows, if you've got them in a station wagon. Obviously not all Defenders have them. And also the trims around the back windows and the grab handles, which are holding some of the headliners in place. Once they're removed, I can then remove some of the trim clips that are holding the headliner into the body of the car, and then we should be able to remove the headliner. Should be really easy. It looks probably more intense than it is because a lot of stuff has to be removed, but actually it's relatively easy, all clips off and clips back on. So let's jump into it. Now we're inside, we can see the trims that we're going to be removing. Obviously some Defenders have these fitted, some don't, depending on the model. We just need to remove 2 screws in each side of the grab handle, remove that. That's pinning that trim in place. And then we can unclip the clips and remove this out of the way. The back one's the same, you can just prise this off. It's held on with a few spring kind of clips, and that's out the way. We can then move on to the headliner, remove these 2 grab handles at the top and these trim clips, and this piece removes really easily. And then we've got a lot of the plastics out the way, as well as these ones here, so that we can then move the headliner out once we've removed all these clips. The other thing we'll need to do as well is also remove this light, as again, that is holding the headliner to the body of the car. So I got to work removing all of the plastics that hold the surround in place. There's quite a few bits to remove, but slowly over time you can get it all removed and get better access to the headliner. I started with the window surrounds, then moved around to the back of the car where I removed the grab handles, which remove some of the other panels that are in the way so we can get the headliner in place easily. I removed the Mudstuff rear light, which actually fixes through the headliner itself, and then I went round to the side of the car where I found it was easier to loosen off the seatbelt fixing to be able to remove the final pieces of trim. So we've made really quick progress. We've removed all of the plastic trims that are holding the headliner in place, all of the window surrounds, the rear quarter surrounds, and the plastic trims that sit on top of the doors. That means we can now remove the middle and the rear section of the headliner, removing all of the little trim clips that are holding the headliner into the roof of the car. We'll then move to the front of the car where I can remove the windscreen mirror, the windscreen visors, and the light, and we can remove that front section. So we're making really good progress. Time to get these rear two sections out of the car. The headliner is held to the body of the car with little plastic clips. These are notoriously hard to remove and often snap and break when you try to remove them. I found a metal trim removal tool was the best way in which I could prise them out, taking my time to slowly prise them out of the body of the car. Once the middle section was loose, I could slide it out the back of the car and then follow the exact same steps to remove the rear liner too. With those two sections removed, it was almost time to fit up the new headliner. I had to remove the front section by first removing the rear view mirror and the sun visors, then the interior light before we could finally remove all of the clips and remove the front liner from the car. So that's the old headliner removed. It looks a little bit daunting at first when you start removing loads of pieces of trim, but it's actually relatively easy and straightforward. That's now all removed, so we can now get ready to fit the new headliner, and I can't wait to see what it's going to look like when it's all in place and give that kind of final level of finish that I'm looking for. So now it's time for the really exciting bit where we're going to fit up the new headliner. You can see how much of improvement this is going to be. What we're going to do is slot this into place and use the headrest to pin it up against the roof, and then we can start to slot the clips in, basically doing the reverse of how we removed the old headliner. I realise now is a good opportunity to do some soundproofing if you haven't already. I would go for some silent coat sheets over the top of that, then some 10mm foam to really insulate the roof and to stop that sound from resonating on the thin sheets. I didn't plan ahead, so I'm not going to do that in today's video, but I definitely recommend it if you haven't already. So now the headliner is in the good position, we can now push through the headliner to the holes that were already marked in the body, and then we can push the trim clips through to start to fix this into place. So that's the front section all fitted up. I don't know whether you can see on camera, but I'll overlay some footage. That went in super easy. I was a bit concerned that because I was being a bit more delicate with obviously the new finish, it was going to be a bit trickier. I was a bit boisterous when I was pulling the old one out, but it went in super easy. The trim clips have gone in perfectly. It's all lined up. All the holes match where kind of they need to be. So I'm so happy, and I'm so happy with the final finish. I can't wait now to fit up the other two panels and the rear panel that goes over the door. So that's the middle piece slotted in between the front and the back. The next thing to do is to punch the holes, and these will go through obviously the middle section into the rear section and the front section, and we can push then those trim clips through into the body of the car, which will tighten it all up, and then it's perfectly in place, ready to go.
It would have been tricky to push the clips through by themselves, so I got a screwdriver to push through the pre-made holes through the headliner into the body of the car so I could make sure it was all aligned. The rear section that goes over the back door was the final section to fit up. Again, I followed the same method, using a screwdriver to punch through the holes to locate the holes in the body, and then pushing the clips through and giving it a small tap with the rubber mallet to seat it home. Once installed, it was then time to fit up the plastic trims that are going to hold this in place, following the reverse of what I had done to remove the headliner, fitting up the window surrounds, the trims that go over the doors, and all of the grab handles that fix the trims to the body of the car. Finally, it was time to fit up the interior light, screwing this through the headliner itself. before moving to the front of the car where I would fit up the sun visors, the interior light and the rear view mirror. Once done, it was time to take a step back and have a look at how this new headliner was looking.
So there you have it guys, that is the install of the Alston black headliner. I followed loads of builds online that have done a similar thing and I'm so happy that I finally got round to doing it. As I said, it was something that I've wanted to do almost since I first bought the truck, so I'm happy to have finally done it and I'm really happy with the results. Be sure to check those guys out, I'll leave a link in the description below. I'm so happy with the fit, how easy it was to install and ultimately how much it's transformed the inside of Scout. As always, if you've enjoyed these videos, be sure to subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.